Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Hear Her Roar. We are coming to you live again from the Mic'd Up Studios in Parramatta. A huge shout out to Dan and the team at Mic'd Up for having us here. Now, a little bit different today. Rachel, unfortunately, can't be with us today as she is on her way home from work, but I am joined today by the amazing Linda. Linda, I've known Linda now for a couple of years. We, of course, met through the West Tigers. Linda, along with her amazing husband, Phil, are Foundation 13 members, passionate supporters of the West Tigers and sponsors of the club for many years. So I'm really very excited to have you here, Linda. So thank you so much for joining me.
I am so excited to be here, and you're the one that inspires me, you and Rachel. What you're doing with this is gold, and I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. So as I said, we've known each other for a few years now, but I want to know the story of how Linda got to be known as Aunty Linda around the club. We'll get to that a little bit later. But how did your rugby league journey start?
Pretty much in my mother's womb on the hill at Leichhardt Oval, then following her up and down the sidelines at Blackmore Oval. It was great. I was sitting next to, I think it was the president of Leichhardt Wanderers at Leichhardt last week, or the week before, and just having a chat. And I said to him, I was, a Wanderers girl. My brothers all played footy. So I grew up playing footy with my brothers, and actually I was the football for a while. I was this tiny little skinny kid.
I could imagine that,
Totally. My brothers used to get my dad's belt and tie me up and pass me to each other, and my mum would come out and go, "Stop using your sister as a football." So it's just in me. It's DNA.
You. And so it's been West Tigers or Balmain from the start, and then obviously West Tigers since the merge.
Yes.
Yep. And what has kept you connected to the West Tigers over the years?
Look, it's a bit of a personal story, which I don't mind sharing. I've always loved sport and stuff like that. And my husband was a Magpie, and I was a Tiger. So when the teams merged, that was great, But I was a fan, but nowhere near as much as he was. I was just sort of more of a light interest and take light notice. And then life throws a few whammies at you along the way. So we had a bit of a situation, I suppose, one way to call it. And after that, I decided to dive into rugby league, to really become my husband's best mate at the footy, and just move over Phil now because I've taken over. It's the best. And it's given us, when you're married and we got our own business and you got family stuff and we got a farm and there's always something we've got to do or pay or see or whatever. But when we talk about our footy, it's this shared passion. And we can argue about something, whether who should be in a position or whatever, but there's no, right, you're on the lounge tonight, don't talk to me. It's a great, it's just brought us so much together. And to be honest, I have got so much more out of this than I ever dreamt about, ever.
It sounds very similar to Brett and I. Brett was a Balmain boy growing up. I was the Magpie girl growing up.
Yes.
So very similar, but the slightly opposites. And now, literally the other night, I was driving home from, it must have been from the Sharks game on Sunday night, and he was driving to work, and it was just back and forth for like an hour via message because of just talking about the game. And, he was getting really frustrated that the May boys hadn't re-signed, which we'll talk about later. And then the whole thing with Tino on Sunday, he was like, how is he playing? Rah, rah, rah. So it's exactly the same. It's like, for those 80 minutes, you're both in it together, whether you 100%. May have had a disagreement somewhere else during the week.
Exactly.
But for those 80 minutes, you're both on the same side of the argument.
It's exactly right. It's fabulous. It's almost 80 minutes of freedom, even though I'm a nervous wreck the whole,
yes.
Or, cheering and hugging everyone I can come across.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I've definitely been on the receiving end of a lot of those hugs, and it's fantastic. Let me tell you, if you ever get to experience a game with Linda, you need to do it because it's just chef's kiss.
Thank you.
So how did you and Phil get involved specifically with the club? So you are Foundation 13 members.
Yes.
And you have sponsored in different ways. So you've sponsored player numbers and you've sponsored the girls team. How did that come about? What made you? So what inspired you both to take on that kind of role?
I think, look, the shared love. We've been through ups and downs. We've been together over 30-something years. Do you know what I mean? So we've had our highs and lows along the way, and you ride them, good or bad. So we became, gosh, I remember when we couldn't even afford to go to the football. Like we lost everything once upon a time, you know, and I think we were had $1,200 in the bank. That's it. And it'd start again. And I remember the local papers had a 25 words or less competition to win free tickets. Right. And I love a poem. I write a poem and I still remember it. To surprise my husband is my dream. West Tigers are his number one team. Rain, hail or shine, he's always there, yelling, cheering, pulling his hair.
Oh, I love that.
And I won.
That's perfect.
I got the envelope in the mail and opened the letter and there was the West Tigers emblem and I swear it was like lotto.
Yeah.
So from then we then became members and it's funny I'm the second, not funny, it's serendipitous that I'm the second guest here because it's because of Marina Go that I'm sitting here right now. I was at home and God bless both boards. They went to the NRL and said, we can't do it, help. And the NRL, in their wisdom, appointed Marina Go. So I was at home and I heard on the radio Marina Go has been appointed chair of West Tigers and I had no idea who she was, never heard of her before.
Yeah, neither same.
Dolly was a few years behind me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but I was a Dolly Marina. I used to, you know. So I heard her name and I work with energy, you know what I mean? Oops, sorry about that. And I just stopped in my tracks and I went, this woman's going to do something. She's the one. She's it. I just knew it. Yeah. So my husband's come home from work and he's gone, oh, did you hear about Marina Go is going to be the chair? I said, yes, and we're sponsoring. And he's gone, what? What? You know, like Italians, don't take my money. No, he's not like that. He's great. But he's like, what? Why now? Why now? And I said, because now is when they need us the most. And that was it. Yeah. We had no one on board hardly at that time. And I rang Scando, I can't remember who it was, and here we are. So that was what brought me to put my money on the table. Okay. I believe in you. And it was probably the worst time of our club's history.
Yes. But as Marina said when she was with us 2 weeks ago, the club had to make a lot of tough choices during that time. And the tough choices that they made is essentially what brought the club back out of that dark spot. And if it wasn't for Marina and those choices and for people like yourself. So can you explain to people that might not know what the Foundation 13
– Oh, well, that was a funny story though, how that come about.
Well, what the Foundation 13 is.
Well, it's the charitable arm of the West Tigers, but the funds go towards just community projects like – bringing sport into schools, but it's more than that. It's mentorship. And, you know, we have that wonderful game that we all just, as I said, the 80 minutes, nothing matters but that ball. My whole life is determined by the bounce of a ball. But after that 80 minutes come, we realise that we have a responsibility to our community and that's what the Foundation's done. So when I first went to the Foundation event, it was a big flash gala event and I went on the night and I signed us up to be a hero sponsor, which is the smaller sponsor, you know. And it just kept playing on my heart how I really wanted to be a part of this group, you know, but it was way out of our league. And but even though it's way out of our league, I'm loophole Linda, I'll find a way, you know. So my husband come home that night and I'm going, listen, I want to talk to you. And he straight away says, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, just listen. And he goes, oh, no. As soon as I say just listen. Just listen to him. He knows I've worked it out. So once he committed, that's it. We're in. And we've got some amazing other sponsors that I just rang them up and said, I'm in. Come on, come along, you know. And they've come along and it's just been, it's a family group. Yeah. But we're not exclusive or anything at all like that. You know what I mean? I run around and speak to everybody. It's great. But knowing that, you know, we're still sponsoring the players as far as the sport and the game itself is concerned, but that money is being used to change lives. Yes. And one of my favourite sayings about this game is it's more than rugby league.
It is more than rugby league. And we're seeing that. So the Foundation 13, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, supports programs like the Empower program that Sean started when a couple of years ago now.
Yep.
And we see week in, week out, the images that come through social media of Sala and Christian were out at a school this week, and the boys are out at schools almost every week, you know, taking the message of I know Sean spoke a lot about introducing, especially down in our area, in the MacArthur area, teaching around the domestic violence and how can we break the cycle of domestic violence and things like that. So I didn't really know that was more what the Foundation 13 members supported than the actual team itself. So that's really special to know that.
Absolutely, darling. I'm really honoured to be blessed to be a part of it, but, you know, knowing that we've put in to change lives. So I don't even need to know the life I've changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't just –
you just need to see, as I said, the socials to see the number of lives that we're able to have, you guys have a direct impact on. So as I mentioned before, known around the club, especially to the girls, as Aunty Linda.
Yes.
When did you first really start engaging with the girls' game? Because obviously the NRLW's only been around at the West Tigers for a couple of seasons now, but you've been involved for longer than that.
It's a little bit of a selfish reason, I have to say. It was coming up to my husband's and my 25th wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. And I don't do anniversaries, I don't do Valentine's, any of that, you know. And I've sort of joking, I had in the back of my mind what I wanted to do. Like, just listen to me, I've thought it out.
Again, just listen.
So I said to him, listen, I've done 25 years, all right, and I reckon it's about time I got a really flash present. And he's gone straight away, whatever you want, babe, whatever you want. Either another horse, you can never have too many horses, or, you know, jewellery, like an eternity ring or something. And I've just looked at him with that, you know, cutie little face I can try to put on and go, will you buy me the Harvey Norman women's team?
So a whole football team.
Whole football team.
So what year was that?
Good question. Well, I'm 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay.
Yes.
So 21.
Yes. And we won the grand final.
I was going to say, when does that coincide with the year that the girls won
the
Harvey Norman grand final?
And I can close my eyes and go back there and I still feel every emotion. That's the glory of rugby league.
Mm-hmm.
I can still feel the emotion of every single play on that day. We weren't meant to make it. We were the underdogs. And that's when the girls all started calling me Aunty Linda. And I explained to them like it was my wedding anniversary present. So we call my husband Uncle Pin Number.
Uncle Pin Number. I hadn't heard that one before.
Love you, babe.
That's a new one. I love that. Love you, Phil.
Uncle Pin Number.
Uncle Pin Number. That's brilliant. So since 21, we're now in 2026. How have you seen the women's game evolve for the West Tigers in that time?
Oh, leaps and bounds. It's just amazing. One of the things I love probably the most, and it doesn't happen on the field, and you'll remember this, when we go and see them in the early days, as soon as they'd come off the field, it was us there, you know, and sweaty hugs from all the girls and with some of the eyelashes coming off and stuff. They were just superb. They'd just given their heart and soul.
Yes.
Well, now we can't get near them.
That's right, yeah. Well, they still do hunt us out.
Of course they do.
They do hunt us out, and massive shout out to the girls for that. But I remember that inaugural captain's run where there was that small group of us out at Campbelltown Oval or Campbelltown Stadium that freezing cold night.
Yes.
And the girls all got their shirts that had all our names on it, and they were so excited that
we were there.
They had a shirt with their name on it. Yep. And we then all started asking them to sign them, and they were like, why?
I know.
Why do you want us to sign your shirts for? And then they started all signing each other's, and it was just the most incredible night. And a lot of us who have sort of followed the NRLW since the start just say that was probably one of the most impactful West Tigers events that we've ever been to.
Agree.
So I guess this gives us a nice segue now into talking about Origin. So we've got some pretty interesting takes on Origin last week, but let's just quickly recap. So last week, Rachel and I previewed the game. We spoke quite openly about our opinions on the team selections.
Yes.
The very strange.
Strange.
Pun very much intended.
100%.
Team selections. But New South Wales ended up winning 11-6, and it was their first win at McDonald Jones Stadium in the Origin sort of series. It was 6-6 with only 10 minutes to go, and then Jessie Southwell slotted that amazing field goal, and we thought that was it. We thought that was how the game was going to end. But then in the dying seconds, Jess just made that beautiful line break and managed to score the final try. So the score ended up being 11 points to 6. So New South Wales goes in 1-0 into the second game, which will be next week. Give me your opinions on Origin last week.
Look, any women's game, I'm just going to wrap to the hilt. These women are incredible. They really are incredible. But I'm very passionate about the game and where I want it to go. And having the state of origin before the comp starts is the biggest slap in the face I've ever come across. I don't understand the logic. I want to know who made that decision, and I want to know why. And if it's not a good enough reasons, we're going to change it.
Yeah.
Rachel nailed it in her, I'm repeating what she said, but I 100% agree. Twiley this year, I reckon he's got Origin written all over him.
Yes, but he won't because he wears a West Tigers jersey.
Anyway, we're used to that.
That's another story.
But that's taken that opportunity away from every girl.
That's exactly correct.
Every girl, like who's this? And wow, she's Origin and this massive trajectory. But also when you're playing the comp week in, week out, and we know Origin's coming, it's the build-up for the Origin, for the pinnacle of the game.
Yeah.
And they shove it at the beginning of the season. Why?
The number of people that said to me they didn't even know that Women's Origin was on last week. They only sort of heard very last minute that it was on. But we're already hearing advertising for the Men's Origin, and it's not for another 3 or 4 weeks.
Exactly right.
So there's the lack of advertising. There's the lack of preparation.
100%.
A few of us, including Kennedy Cherrington, I spoke about her opinions of the women's versus the men's game, but there were a few people got into a couple of heated discussions around the game on Twitter, including Kennedy. She sort of jumped in and tried to shut a few people down. But there was a lot of debate, mostly from men. All the girls were trying to defend because we sort of follow the women's game, so we have a little bit more understanding of the implications. But a lot of people were saying that the game was slow. There wasn't enough impact. But that's what we've just said is the reason why the game's not at its best quality. A lot of those girls haven't played regular football since September.
Exactly right. It's common sense why it was slower.
They've been in a camp for a couple of weeks.
Nothing.
Playing against each other, which we know opposed sessions are nowhere near as physical as a game against an actual opposition.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're very much in agreement with us.
100%, and I'm pretty upset about it. Do you understand? Like, these girls give their all. They all work. 90% of them all work. And to put a state of origin, the pinnacle of our game is state of origin.
That's right.
It truly is. It's the best of the best.
It is. And that was one big thing we spoke about last week as well. Yes, it's a World Cup year. So, yes, players are going to be wanting to play for their nation. But it doesn't matter about the World Cup. It doesn't matter about that. The old Anzac test. It doesn't matter about the Pacific test. It doesn't matter about Indigenous versus Maori All-Stars. Everybody wants to play Origin.
Absolutely. We all know it's the best of the best.
So with the game last week, so Yasmin Meeks was named player of the match. So she made 35 tackles, including one of the try-saving tackles with Abby Church very late in the game, which could have actually put Queensland in front.
Yes.
And Isabel Kelly just did Isabel Kelly things.
You say that name and you're like, wow.
Ran over 210 metres in the game. She broke 5 tackles. She threw 2 offloads, and at some point she was also injured. You said you actually didn't get to see the whole game because you had something else pop up. But do you have any players that stood out for you for what you did see?
Kezzy Apps. And she's now in the next, right.
That is correct. That I was about to lead into that as well. So the Game 2 team list has been announced. So Rach and I will break that down next week. But Tiana Penatani-Gray has been ruled out with a knee injury. So she was in Kezzy's number 11 jersey, which we spoke quite a bit about last week. So now Kezzy gets her favoured number 11 back. She goes back into the back row where she belongs. But, and this absolutely blew me away, is John Strange has picked Rima Butler to take Kezzy's place on the bench. another rooster who's not played Origin, when you have a player like
the blood pressure's rising, the saying naughty words, little person wants to come out.
So again, yes, maybe it's a smidge of bias.
No, it's not a smidge.
But our girl Salah, like that
The
girl
best.
carried our team last year.
Absolutely.
She
She'll carry
carried
any team.
when we lost Christian early in the season.
Yeah.
Salah just went to another level last year.
Absolutely.
And I think that the fact that she hasn't been picked even on the bench, even on the extended
It's
bench.
strange.
It's very, very strange. But it's also bloody disrespectful.
100%. That's what I said. The naughty words want to pop out, and it's an insult.
It is.
She's
an
an Australian player. She carried out like they all helped each other, but we watched it.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal.
And she's
So I'm very upset about the whole State of Origin scenario, what's happened. You know, we can keep underlying that strange pics. We all know what we're talking about. The game, so the pinnacle before the comps even started. So we're not warmed up and into it and watching who's happening and who might be picked. All of that's gone.
Yeah, well, we're still another week, 2 weeks until pre-season starts for these girls. So it's not as if they're even in a proper pre-season. The girls are out at the gym on their own, or we see a lot of our Tigers girls, they have access to the gym at Concord.
Yeah.
But it's very different running yourself through a fitness program than it is to be working at an elite level.
Absolutely, as a professional athlete.
So come round one for NRLW, which is still feels like an eternity
Doesn't
away.
it?
10 of the Roosters players that take that field in round one for the Roosters are going to have a 6-week elite State of Origin camp. Then they're going to have another 2. Then they're going to have 3 elite games plus the training in between.
Yeah.
How is that not an unfair advantage?
I think it's very wise if I don't open my mouth because I have to be a lady.
Yes. So Troy, shout out
Terrible. It's a joke, darling. It's wrong.
It is.
It's absolutely wrong.
It is. So
For every darling, for every club, not just us because we're Tigers.
No.
Every club, it's wrong.
Yeah, because not even like normally the Queensland side would be slightly heavily weighted towards the Broncos.
Yes.
But this year it's not. This year it's quite evenly spread. There's probably a couple more Broncos,
Always.
which is understandable. But it's not to the point where 10 out of their 20 players that are named are from the same team.
100%, Kelly.
So Troy, so shout out to Troy from the Groin Strain. If you've never listened to Troy's podcast, he's also an Ambush regular. Just like all of us, a big Tigers supporter, and he loves our girls just as much as anybody. He put the question to me and for Rach today, which we'll talk about again next week when Rach is here, but I'll put it to you as well. Do you think that the NRL should put some kind of cap on the number of players that can be taken from the one team for Origin?
Jeepers, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one because sometimes you do have a team of champions like Melbourne Storm back in the Billy Slater and Cameron Smith, all of them,
Cronk.
all of them. Like you could not pick them. They were just – so that comes along every now and then. But the Roosters don't have that. Like he's bypassed some amazing talent. And I think if it's the coach of that club, they then should put a limit on it. Sorry, that's too much of an advantage. If they're going to keep this ridiculous idea of State of Origin before the comp starts, then no, we got to stop this.
Yeah, something has to be done.
If somebody in NRL headquarters goes, you know what, maybe we shouldn't put the State of Origin on for the girls before the comp starts, then we can look at it again. But as it stands right now, that's a massive advantage.
It is. It's a huge advantage.
Monster.
And I guess that's why with the men's game, if you coach Origin, you don't coach. Right. You don't coach a team.
That's exactly right.
There has to be that impartial nature.
Absolutely, yep.
And it's the same with then the Kangaroos. Like if you coach any representative side throughout the year, you cannot coach an NRL side.
So can we have some consistency with the girls, please? Whoever's listening out there.
That's right. Whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Let's fix it. So, okay. Let's talk about our boys now.
No.
Actually, before I jump into that, back to our girls. One for a couple of last questions. So this year we've made the change of the coach.
Yes.
So we now have Craig Sandercock, who will be running our side.
Yes.
Do you know anything about Craig? Have you had a chance to meet him
Not
yet?
a word. Haven't met him, but I'm sure that will happen real quick.
Well,
it'll be a famous hug and all the rest.
Season launch in a couple of weeks.
Yes, can't wait.
So that'll be very exciting.
Yes.
And we're still only sitting at, well, the last list I saw, we were sitting at 21 out of 24 players, but that list also included Piakura, who we've just found out is expecting as well.
None of the boys get pregnant. This is crazy.
So not only have we lost Jade, but we've already replaced Jade. We've now lost another player, and so we need to now essentially find 3 players before the season starts. So
no, I'm not playing.
you're not playing? I was going to say, will you strap on the boots with Rach and I, and we'll get out there and have a crack. But I guess what are your expectations for this season, knowing that we basically have turned over, I guess it's almost half the squad from last year and the coach. So what are your expectations for this year?
That's a really, really good question, hun. I know from being around and being up close with them that there's something about these girls, these women. They won't stop trying. They will give them all their all. So what I'm expecting is more of that, but I am looking forward to new plays and you know, it's almost like it's new for me again now to get to know them all and find out, you know, what they're doing. I remember watching Harvey Norman game, and we were getting slaughtered, absolutely flogged this particular game. And one of the players our players come off right at the end of the game, and she just burst into tears. Right, tackled right up into the.
I've had Christian crying.
Oh, there you
after
go.
Games.
This is one of the curtains, one of the toughest girls ever, because she had nothing left
Yeah.
to give. She had nothing. She had given, and all that was left was just
Emotion. Yeah.
was emotion, and that I just loved. You know, so I've never been so proud of you in my life of that. We also sponsored Thormere women's team.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and they got flogged.
Grassroots girls.
That's exactly right. Just to say I believe in you. You know what I mean? And they got flogged every week as well. Loved it. Gave their all. The other teams were coaching them because there were girls in there that had never played before, women. It was just, but the camaraderie, knowing that they were playing against a very weak team, the other teams were just amazing. So that's this girl stuff that we've got going, you know. So I have no doubt our Tiger girls will, you know, light that up higher than any other club can do. And I'm really looking forward just to seeing what they're going to give me.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing Rakia back out there.
We
missed her. We missed her so much last year.
I know.
And those 2 little cherubs of hers are the most.
Haven't got my hands on it yet.
But the photos that you see on socials, they are adorable.
You distract her and I'll grab one and run.
And then you distract her and I'll grab
the other one. They won't know.
I love it. Alrighty, let's chat. Let's chat the boys now for a while.
Still hurting.
We won't talk about the game just yet. We'll talk about a few good things first, and then we'll get into some not so good things. But
not so good.
This last week has probably been. We've been on a roller coaster ride with the West Tigers since day one, but this last week in particular was a bit of a roller coaster ride, a little bit more. So it started off obviously with that big win over Canberra at Leichhardt. That was just an amazing Thursday night. The hill was pumping, like the atmosphere was incredible. We come into that week, Jerome Luai signs with the Chiefs. Our hearts all break, because the media just automatically went to what does that mean for everybody else? Like, who is going to follow him out the door? Brett was exactly the same. He just went straight into panic mode. Like, this is Brett who has sort of lost and come back and lost and come back because of the way that the game's gone over the last couple of years. But he's so invested in what Benji's doing at the moment. He's like, we need to lock these players up. Then we hear the news that the May brothers have re-signed until the end of 2030, which is the same year that Benji's contract is currently up to. However, at the same time, they release a video that tells everybody that they're also going to PNG, and social media lost its mind because people hadn't seen the announcement. The announcement and this prank video came out basically at the same time. And I think if I had have seen the prank video first, I would have been one of the ones that was freaking out. But thankfully I'd seen the email from the club.
Yes.
So I was like, this is peak Terrell May.
Yeah.
Like this was the best piece of content that this guy's ever produced. And the fact that the club went along with it and let them use the press conference material and all that kind of stuff, it was just brilliant. What I had wished is we'd maybe let the media take that and run with it.
Oh, yeah. A bit of egg on their face.
Exactly
would look,
right.
A lovely look.
Could you imagine the stories that would have come out if the media thought that the May brothers were going to PNG?
Yeah.
Anyway, then we go to Cronulla on Sunday. We'll forget about that for now, but we'll come back to it in a minute. Then, not the day after, but the day after that, so Tuesday morning, we wake up to the news that Jareen Buller has also signed to the end of 2030. You know, Creamy was going to the Bulldogs. He'd been seen with Gus Gould. He'd been seen at the Bulldogs games, but he has re-signed as well until 2030. And then there were rumours yesterday that the club is very, very close now to signing Latu and Semwela on extended contracts as well, with Sione already locked in to 2029.
Happy dance.
So happy. How important is it for us to be locking in these players now?
Absolutely. But the thing is, and I don't know any gossip on anything. No one because a lot of people ask me, what do you know? What do you know? No one tells me anything. I know what comes out on the website. But what I do know is Benji Marshall. And that's what we've got. I've always said I can prove that God is a West Tigers supporter because we got Benji Marshall. And I truly, with him, I understand playing for the coach. So that is, it's more than rugby league. How's that?
It is.
It's more than rugby league, even though that's what they're doing. It's what it's all about, but it's more of that heart and soul stuff.
Yeah, and I guess that's what really annoyed for the use of a better word, when the media came out when Jerome signed with PNG, saying that all these players are going to leave.
I knew that, the exodus.
Jerome brought them to the club and Jerome brought the culture and Jerome did this and Jerome did that. Yes, Jerome has done a lot for our
amazing.
club and he will leave our club in 18 months as one person who has had one of the biggest impacts on the West Tigers. But there has not been one interview with a player who was signed for the West Tigers that said, I came here to be with Jerome Luai.
Yeah, no.
It's, I came here to play for Benji Marshall.
Exactly right.
Bunty Afoa, the May brothers.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to listen to Taylon. Like, Taylon doesn't talk a lot, but when he talks about Benji, you can hear the admiration he has for that man.
Almost reverence.
In his voice.
100%.
And so, you know, I think these signings, and if we can get the Fainu brothers now, so Samuela and Latu over the line, that locks us in with a huge number of extremely talented players because Alex Twelves recently re-signed, Alex Seyfarth's recently re-signed, all until the end of 29 or 2030.
Right.
That's 3-4 years.
With the fabulous pathways to help when all our players are picked for State of Origin.
Exactly, with stability as well.
Stability.
That is the biggest thing that used to break my heart as a West Tigers supporter is, you know, every year would go to the beginning of the year members day and they'd hand out the team count, like the team photo, and you'd look at the team photo and you'd go, maybe like 3 of these guys are here from the year before.
Yeah, who are the rest?
You know, they'd make the calendar and the joke was always, you know, there's no point buying a West Tigers calendar because half the players are gone
by the end of the year.
By the time you get to the next year. But the fact that we've now got all of these players locked in until 29, 2030.
Benji Marshall.
It's so exciting.
That man.
It is that man.
I joke, and this is a true story. He'd only been at the club, I don't know, not long, a couple of years, and I joke with him. I said, you still had pimples. He laughs, pimples. I remember talking to him and he had this far away look in his eyes of, he was only a baby, of steely determination, and he looked at me and said, I'll be coach here one day.
Wow.
I know. I still remember the moment.
That's
and
incredible.
He wasn't looking in my eyes when he said it. He was looking off in the distance and I was sort of looking up at him and I just knew. I got the feeling.
Ooh,
I
gives
know,
me
darling. It was
goosebumps.
exactly that. It was exactly that.
I love that so much. All right, let's turn to some not so good stuff.
Oh, okay.
Injuries.
Oh,
So
terrible.
we'd already lost Jureen Buller for a shoulder injury. He's already missed 1 week and still has about another 5 weeks to go.
Yeah.
Hamasi Makasini injured his foot during, I think it was the Newcastle game. I can't even remember what Brisbane game. Sorry, he's already missed a few weeks as well, and is likely to miss another 3 weeks. Adam Dewey, 11 minutes into Sunday's game.
That man.
He scored that try literally from here to that camera away from where I was on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And as he went down, the three of us looked at each other and went,
oh, no.
He's done his shoulder. You could just see it on his
on the
face.
field and just give him a kiss.
You could just see it on his face. So thankfully he's avoided surgery.
Yes.
But
Wise of Benji kept him off.
yeah, because Adam was champing at the bit to go back on. They were saying
Of course he
in
would.
the
He'd go on
commentary
with one leg, Adam
he would. But similar to Talon, but it sounds a little bit worse to Talon.
Absolutely.
Talon was 4 weeks. They've said 6 weeks to Adam. Adam said in the press that he would like to be back in 4, but, they're not going to push it. And then Sam Weller, to me, that was the very worst thing. Yes, there was 52-10 scoreline, but the worst thing was seeing Sam Weller being carried off the field. Where was the Medicab, Cronulla? Like, come on, guys. Your stadium's that povo that you couldn't have a Medicab or a stretcher to help a poor guy off the field. They originally thought it was only going to be 6 weeks, but he posted a photo yesterday on social media that he'd just come out of surgery and it's actually going to be closer to 12 now. So
that hurts.
do you think that these injuries, and we've also got Appy out for another 2 weeks, of course he's a naughty boy, do you see this all as a setback or an opportunity for us?
A challenge and an opportunity. Our pathways are spectacular. Once upon a time, do you remember, we just go, I don't know, pluck him in there and try him over there and let's just buy another player from another club and see if we got plans now. And the energy of the group, the respect they have for Benji will lift them.
Yeah.
And the respect they have for each other. It's not all about Benji. He'll tell you that. It's all of them together.
Team
for
first.
sure.
Yeah.
So the respect for Benji and that, I could try and put a good word on what it is that they have for him. It's not so much adoration, but he's done it. Let's Benji Marshall. Do you know what I mean? And so we've got that. But as I said, the way they play for each other, I have every confidence that, we might get some new young up-and-comer that comes in and next thing's picked for the third state of origin.
Yes, unlike the girls.
Unlike the girls. But anyway, we're talking about the boys.
We are talking about the boys. So if we stick to that game on Sunday, I know we don't want to talk about it too much, but
Still hurts.
it definitely does still hurt, but we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about it a little bit. So Rach and I normally do 3 things when we talk about the game: the spark, the frustration, and the talking point. So Rach has sent hers through as well for us to talk to. But the first one is the spark. So the moment, the player, or the effort that gave you a lift or showed you what this team could be. So Rachel's submitted actually about the signing. So she couldn't find a spark during the game, but she said
it's very hard.
Yeah, that the signings and the faith that the boys are showing in Benji and the direction that the club is going, that's been her spark for this week. Do you have a spark from the game or from this week in general?
Oh, darling, it was just one of those games that you just knew it was going. Just
couldn't stop it.
You just couldn't. And I've been around long enough and watched enough games that's happened.
Yeah.
And you just sit here going, why? And there's nothing you can put a finger on, nothing.
No, that's right.
Truly nothing. But then the next week come out like world beaters. You know what I mean? And so we got that out of the way.
That's correct.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's
There's
done.
too much good stuff that we've played to let that game have an effect on us.
Exactly. So I took away 2 sparks from the actual game. So being at the game, there were a few things that I noticed that people might not have picked up on the TV. Luke's performance in that game was amazing. Paul Luke's copped a bit of a bagging this season. He's been dropped, been brought back. He did not stop. He did not give up until that 80th minute when Nico Hines took that intercept pass and ran that 60 metres for that last try. Luke was on his heels.
Yeah.
Another 5 to 10 metres and Luke probably would have had him.
For sure.
There was one other player and I do apologise, I can't think of who it was that was also, but he was a good couple of metres back from Luke. But every carry, Luke just ran with intent. He hit that line hard and he was doing everything in his power to try to get the boys back in the game. And then on the other side of the coin, Mr. Reliable, Alex Twal, 62 tackles. He just never, ever gives up.
He's always been such a strong, reliable man, but this year
he's just gone to another level.
Phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have State of Origin on him, I'll be talking down the camera at someone else again soon.
Yes. All right. So next is the frustration. So the play, the decision, or the pattern that had you shaking your head. Rach went with the effort of some of the effort from players, poor defensive reads, players appearing not committed in every play of the game, and those standards that Benji had spoken about appeared to have been dropped.
For the whole game, just about. Apart from, the few standouts, and Dewey's try was I'm scoring this, get out of my way, I could see it. But there's something, it happens, I've seen it before, where it just doesn't matter. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
One will lift for a little while, but then the ball or the drop ball, the mistake, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah. So with that game as well, so mine is very similar. In particular, literally the first 15 minutes of the game, Cronulla had the wind behind them and they were
the sun
kicking into the sun. So
smart play.
I said to Rachel and Diane, who I was with, and shout out to Diane for the tickets on Sunday. We just said they're just going to pepper that corner.
Yep.
And we said, thankfully, it's only going to be there for a couple of minutes. But I think the damage was already done by that point. Tino had made 4 mistakes in the first 20 minutes and his confidence was absolutely shot.
Yeah.
But the thing that frustrated me the most was the man inside him in Stafford Toa has a lot of NRL experience and he didn't help Tino as much as he should in defence.
The whole edge was shocking.
Yeah. So that
Tino is going to come back and be a superstar.
He is.
The same thing happened. I was just speaking to you briefly about it before. I remember being a game at Leichhardt Oval and Ben Teo had the worst game of his career. Cost us the game. It was just horrendous, just shocking. And from that went on to play for Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So chin up, You're a first grade player and you got more to come. It was one of those games, and trust me, I have one of those games at least twice a week. I can't find my keys. I can't find my phone. I've kicked my toe.
100%. The worst is when you're in a hurry and you're trying to get out of the car and your handbag gets caught on the gear stick. Anyway, the last thing and then we'll put this game to bed because as you said, it's in the past. We need to move on. The talking point, the thing that everyone should be discussing coming out of this week's game. Rach said the injury toll. We've spoken about the next man up mentality. This really needs to be the focus for the game against the Storm. But she wants the standards to be back where they were at the beginning of the season. Not that she's necessarily expecting a win, but she's looking for that.
I'm expecting the win every week. I've seen the way we play. I've seen the energy. Last week, we forget it.
Yeah.
No, it's done. It's dusted. We all know it was a shocker. And this week, we're all going to lift. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got some huge injury tolls, but, with the Tigers and their heart, the mighty Magpies and their pride, we knew it would take too long to build a finals footy side.
Beautiful.
So I know we'll lift. I know. Look, I'm putting a lot of pressure on Benji. I know I am, but he can take it.
Benji even said that in the press conference. He said, I know I can, I know we can turn this around.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. 18 months ago, you would probably be thinking, I'm not too sure about that. But
I'd be nervous about watching this week's game. 18 months I'd be nervous about watching. Even though Storm are playing dreadful at the moment, I'd still be nervous.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
My frustration was just the whole experience that I had out of Cronulla. So as I said, shout out to Diane for the tickets. I was invited into the Chairman's Lounge, which I'm extremely grateful for, that I've had these kinds of experiences through people like yourself and Phil as well out at Leichhardt and at Campbelltown. So I wasn't going to say no to that offer, even though I did do a half marathon on Sunday morning and was absolutely wrecked. But so I got out there. There's no, people say that Leichhardt Oval is hard to get to and hard to park. This place was a nightmare.
Oh.
Then once I got in, there were, you had to go up and down stairs to find a toilet. And then as I was leaving, I was the only West Tigers supporter that was left in the marquee because everybody else had gone. And they'd started playing Up, Up, Cronulla. And I had people literally screaming it in my face as I was walking out. Like
What, walking out of the corporate area?
as I was walking out of the corporate area.
I would speak to corporate management. That's rude.
I was just like, did that just happen, or am
Were
I
they like aggressively?
aggressively?
Yeah, no. That's
Yeah.
over the top. That's just.
Yeah.
I would
So
email.
And then as I continued walking through the crowd, because I went and met a friend and caught up with them after the game. But yeah, that just the experience of moving through the crowd as a single West Tigers supporter on my own.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not cool. Like
No.
people say that Leichhardt Oval is not safe, but I was like, I'm not feeling really, I don't feel welcome at all.
That
right
upsets
now.
me to hear that because I love the never mind, love. There's always next week, and you put up a good fight, or just that type of stuff. But to be aggressively,
Yeah.
I would contact the club. I'm sure Cronulla would find out who it was and find the person and go,
Yeah.
you can't do that, mate.
There were a lot of guests in that
I'm
space.
sure there were, but the guests
yeah.
were brought along by a sponsor or whatever.
Yeah.
That's wrong. It's not on, you know?
Anyway, as we said, in the past, never ever going back to Shark Park again. I even told Diane that, I'm done with this place. But thank you very much again for the tickets. So let's talk about this game coming up against the Storm. So team list changes. We could be here for half an hour talking about these alone. So Heath Mason comes in at fullback, and that means that Tito moves back to his wing.
Yes.
Patrick Herbert is replacing Stafford Toa in the centres.
Yeah.
So essentially, and KPP is back in the second row. So that whole right edge
It's changed.
has been
Fabulous.
and replaced.
Fabulous.
Sione Fainu replaces Samuela Fainu
Yeah.
on the other edge.
I love you, Mrs. Fino.
Unfortunately, Tony Suka dropped right out of the side, so he didn't even get a spot on the bench. So he unfortunately, though, may have been caught up with that right edge debacle,
Yes.
and Benji may have seen something more
Of course.
than we saw for that reason. Jock will start in the 7 jersey alongside Jerome Luai, and Latu Fainu will be on the bench in the 14 jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Bunty Afoa has been named in the 15 jersey for the first time.
Phillips doing a happy dance.
Phillips, ooh, I like that.
Yes.
So he may get his club debut this week. Depends if Benji doesn't, do that last minute shuffle, which Benji's not really known to do. And Royce, we all love Roycey and Alex Seyfarth, maintain those last 2 spots on the bench. Then the extended bench includes Maverick Gaia for his first time in the NRL side, and Jarrell Skelton. So Jock starting in the 7 this time alongside Jerome.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Happy days.
Happy days?
Yeah, 100% Jock Man's been amazing. Happy days.
He did get a lot of heat off Sunday's game.
Everyone got a lot of heat off. Everyone. I even got heat off Sunday's game. You know what I mean?
I think because he played so well when he played those games with
Absolutely.
Adam, the big difference was he wasn't thrust in after 11 minutes. He had time to build that connection with Adam during the week.
Yep.
So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is a week of training with Jerome.
Yep.
Even though apparently Jerome didn't train yesterday and neither did Talon. But the reason why Talon didn't train is apparently his partner had a baby this week.
More baby tigers. I can't wait.
So yeah, very exciting that Jock gets the opportunity to, to redeem. I'll say, I don't want to say redeem himself, but essentially he gets the opportunity to show what he's capable of with the adequate preparation this week. Heath Mason, a lot
of me, boys, so be careful. I love him.
I simply said that was definitely not on my West Tigers bingo card for 2026, that Heath Mason was going to play in at fullback.
Yeah.
But I understand why.
Absolutely.
Tito Taruva is an elite winger.
Yes.
He needs to be on that wing. There's no point disrupting other spots just to feel a spot that needs filling.
Yeah.
If we can bring in Heath Mason, people are like, oh, what about Jack Adard? What about this guy? What about that guy? For starters, Jack Adard suffered a HIA last week, so he's not available anyway.
Yeah.
Also, we can't pick him because he's too young. He's not part of the development squad at the moment. Heath Mason has played cup this year. Yes, he's played in centres. He's played a little bit in the halves. But the kid can run.
Yep.
Totally. All we need him to do is catch the ball and run.
That's exactly right. And he's a good tackler.
He is.
Yeah, I know.
So,
he's a tough.
get out there with his little white headgear and.
I'll give him an Aunty Linda hug before the game.
Okay, you do that. That'd be awesome. That's what I'm excited for.
I am too.
And people have said, he's now got the opportunity to prove himself.
He's still only young coming through.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. And he played fullback for us a couple of times last year.
It was okay,
out at Campbelltown, and he did a great job.
Yep.
So, Benji's got to get that next man up mentality into the players. And I think the fans need to also have that next man up mentality and not just look at a team sheet and go and write half the team off
together.
Before we've even taken the side. Now with the Storm, Jerome Hughes is back. Xavier Oates was supposed to be back, but thankfully he's not. Suafar Longo is there. Sorry, I probably butchered that, but he is their menace at the back. He has got speed and footwork to burn. However, Munster and Grant aren't exactly having the best year.
Who are we talking about? We're talking about Melbourne Storm.
I know.
It's
seven losses in a row.
That's just.
And they haven't played the same backline for 2 weeks in a row because Bellamy hasn't been happy. So we need to take advantage of that.
Absolutely, that's right.
And I think by Benji shoring up those edges by moving Taruva back to that edge, keeping that left edge as stable as possible, Benji's seen that is a huge weakness for 100%. Them. What do you think is a key matchup? What worries you about this Melbourne side?
Unpredictability of them. It's Melbourne.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne, and I know they've had a shocker and it happens, but they have some quality players in their team. Having said that, they may as well not turn up. After what happened to us last week, we are going to be on fire.
Yes.
I feel it.
Mm-hmm. So last year we went down there and it was 64-0.
Just say it quietly.
But I don't see that happening.
No, me neither. Not at all.
Not at all.
They're not the same team, Melbourne.
No, and we're not the same team.
That's exactly
right.
We're
not the same team either. For me, the key matchups is the two Jeromes. So you've got Jerome Luai for us, who needs to really step up.
Yes.
Even though he's got the 6 on his back, he needs to be the leader in terms of getting the boys up, getting them.
That's right.
But then also getting them settled if they need it. And because I think on Sunday, when we got a bit frazzled, we were pushing passes that didn't need to be pushed.
Silly play.
And that's where a lot of those errors came from.
Yep.
So Jerome really needs to be that voice that when they need to lift, he gets them lifted. But if he sees that, guys, we need to, stop pushing passes. We're giving away too many errors. We're giving away too many penalties. We need to really focus.
Well, our forwards are giving him the room to be able to do that.
Yes.
That's what I'm loving.
Yeah. And that was just the biggest thing on Sunday is we were making those errors on that second or third tackle. So we just had no go forward. So yeah. Okay, we just won't talk about it anymore. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. So I asked Rach, what do the Tigers need to do differently to improve from this game? And she spoke about improving those issues on the right edge, which we've already spoken about. She said with KPP and Tito coming back, that should strengthen it massively, but we need to raise our standards on the right side, but also, get rid of those embarrassing efforts, reduce the errors, and then just stick to the game plan.
Yep.
The game plan probably revolved a lot around Adam last week. So
of course it would.
11 minutes and he's gone.
He's gone. Everything's got to change. Yeah. Positions shuffled around. Yeah.
All right. Predictions. So Rachel said 16-12 to the Tigers, that it's going to be a close, hard-fought game. She doesn't think it will be pretty, but we'll get over them in the last 10 minutes. How about a prediction from you?
28-4 our way.
28-4.
Sorry, Melbourne, but it's...
Wow.
And even then we're going to be upset about that try you scored. We're all going to go, that wasn't a try. All right.
I love it. So
Yeah. That right edge.
Claw back our for and against as well.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to go with 18-16. I hate a close game, but
Totally hate a close game.
it's better than 18-17.
True. Yes, yeah.
They kicked a field goal and then we somehow score a penalty goal or something. Anyway, I hate doing numbered predictions. Rachel knows that. So I usually, try to get out of it, but I've done it now.
Yeah, we win.
But anyway, so this weekend is Mother's Day. So we want to send a massive shout out to all the mothers.
Happy Mother's Day, all the mums.
All the mums.
All the fur baby mums too, yes.
All the fur baby mums. So all of the mums of our West Tigers boys, all of the mums in our girls team, all of the mums that have anything to do with West Tigers and anything to do with rugby league at all. A massive, massive happy Mother's Day to you.
Big. And thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you. Yeah.
Sometime next week, Rach and I will be jumping on NRL Deep Dive with Geordie. So keep an eye out on his YouTube channel for that. We're very excited about that. There is no ambush event this week because the game is on Mother's Day. But if you are heading to Melbourne or you're heading down or you already are down in Melbourne and you're going to the game, there is a pre-game meetup at the Precinct Hotel in Cremorne starting at 11:30 a.m. So our amazing CEO, Sean, posted today on Facebook that he will be there. So if you haven't had the opportunity to meet Sean, I do recommend that you get down there. You can find out more on the Ambush Instagram page or our Facebook page about that event. We will be holding an Ambush event, however, for the Magic Round game. So when the West Tigers take on Manly, some of the team are going up there to go to the game. The rest of us will be holding the fort out of the Orange Grove Hotel. We're still working on our special guest, so stay tuned for that. But we'll have the podcast chat, Yodi's quiz, lucky door prize, and the OG are putting on happy hour and lunch specials for food and drink. And anybody that is going to Brisbane for the game, the club is putting on a event at the Last Man Standing Pub and Brewery, which is actually owned by, I don't know if you know this one, Australian legend and big-time West Tigers supporter, Stephen Bradbury.
Oh, fabulous.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Stephen Bradbury, for those guys that,
I didn't know
the
ice supporter.
Ice skating, Australia's
he's in the vernacular
Olympic.
now, isn't it? You've done a Bradbury.
Done a Bradbury, yep. So you can all do a Bradbury up at the Last Man Standing. That is from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's on Caxton Street, so it's not far from the ground. Tickets are $25 and you can get them from Raw Store, the West Tigers Raw Store under events. And if you are a member, you can use the code from your membership to get 10% off. So you can get it for $22.50 if my maths is correct. And with that, you get 2 drinks plus you get, access to the event, which is amazing. So that brings us to the end of today. I want to say a massive thank you for coming along today. I always love catching up with you, but today's been very special.
Hasn't it?
I'm so excited that you've come along on our podcast and you'll definitely have to come back later in the year.
I would love to come back.
Once the girls' season actually kicks off.
Sure.
We can come back in and yeah, but one last question. For someone who has been a part of the rugby league community for so long, what does game day mean to you?
Oh, game day is it's just such, especially when we're going there live, it's just such a special day. It starts from the minute you wake up. It's just, and my husband and I look at each other and, you know what I mean, the anticipation.
Do you have any game day rituals?
Oh, they're a bit R-rated. I better not. It's a children's show.
Oh, okay.
A couple of nudie runs around the property, just to get the heart pump. No ritual. Although my husband, definitely has his West Tigers undies and his West Tigers socks and stuff like that. And if I've worn the same jersey and we've won, I'll wear the same outfit the following week.
Yeah, I used to do that. I've stopped doing that now because I thought
stop. I'm still...
I was saying to Linda before, my goal is to wear a different jersey every week on the pod, so you get to see all my jerseys. I have that many of them. If I wear the same one every week, then the rest of them just gather dust in the wardrobe. So mine is usually a game day walk or get out and get some fresh air just to listen to a pod, listen to some music and, as you said, get the blood flowing before we head out there. But again, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Rach will be back in studio next week and we'll look at everything game 2 of the Girls Origin, and we'll also be reviewing our massive, what did you say it was? What's our win going to be?
28-4.
28-4 win against the Storm on Sunday. So thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. We hope you've loved listening to Hear Her Roar, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kelly. You're the best.